have a weekly strategy roundtable where we talk about current market conditions, go over earnings, go over geopolitical risk, Middle East, interest rates, oil prices, and then determine what works in this current market environment and what doesn't. For those of you who are new, welcome. If this is your first live event, do me a favor, type in first. Always want to welcome new subscribers. This is my brief bio. I do see a few new names, so that's good. So my background is in technology. I have a master's degree in computer science. 25 years ago, I was writing thesis on AI and implementing code AI. So AI has been here for a while. It's been reaccelerating with the ChatGPT launch. But always work in fintech space, in different startups. Options Express, broker-dealer, went public. I was their first employee, decided to manage my own money, build technology infrastructure from what I've learned in school and at different companies to help me manage my own money, build signals. And then 12 years ago, or 14 years ago, 2012, 14 years ago, started TradeSpoon and Yellow Tunnel. I've been managing my own money and providing signals to the subscribers like Trading Room. Keith Harwood from Options Hotline joined us 2 years ago, and we do portfolio management together. We have live Trading Room, Morning Bell, Closing Bell, and he helps me validate and improve models and signals. Disclosures are very important. Please read them. Trading stock and options involve risk, not suitable for everyone. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept it in order to invest in current market conditions. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not registered with FINRA nor SEC. I'm showing you what I do in my own account based on my own risk tolerance level for general education information purposes only. Please consult your financial advisor prior to making any trading decisions. But before we jump into trading psychology, let's talk about current market conditions. If you look at the closing windows we don't need. If you look at the, first let's look at our main model, aggressive power trader. Right, this model runs every day and provides signals in the market. Let's see what it said for today. So for today, basically identify Amazon as a long signal, Starbucks, Spiders, STX, and Zoom. Market continues to go high, making new all-time highs. We're at 723. Model makes prediction for today. If you look at the buy sell signals for current trading session, predicted 716, 723 overhead resistance. We're exactly at that level, 723.55. Short term is overbought, but continues to grind higher. In the next couple months, it does seem that we're grinding higher, maybe 721, maybe 712, maybe 740 for the next 3 months. For the next, wait, what happened? Do this again. And for the next 10 days, potentially reaching 730 level. So it still shows you that the market is probably going to be volatile. We're in the middle, in the year of midterm elections. We still have oil prices over 100. Interest rates are elevated. So there is definitely risk to the market, especially at this current level that they are overbought. But nonetheless, market can continue being overbought, for a long period of time until there is a new trigger in the market. Which earnings season have been strong. Most of S&P 500 companies announced earnings. They beat the raising guides, double-digit growth, and as a result, the market is at the all-time high. If you look at the emerging market is breaking out today, so that's positive. You have a broadening of the rally. Small caps made new all-time highs. Again, we're broadening in terms of participation and momentum. Value stocks at all-time high, not making new highs. We want the rest of the market, right? Not just technology, small caps, and emerging market, but value stocks to also continue going higher. But it's right at the all-time high. QQQ every day almost makes new highs. So QQQ now is at 681 level. Bitcoin is still. Let's look at the Bitcoin. Still underperformance, unable to break through the 85,000, so pretty weak price action. Crude oil elevated, right? This past week, last week, we were again at multi-year high, at the height of the escalation in Middle East, and we're at the current level. You can see it in crude oil, you can see it in Brent, and you can see gasoline prices continue to go higher. We've seen Spirit Airlines, because of the elevated oil prices, actually, close their business. We've seen FedEx yesterday have a sharp sell-off as a result of the large, continued increase in oil prices. So definitely, oil does have an effect on transportation companies. We've seen retail sector is weak, right? So people are shopping less, and the retail sector is under pressure below 200-day moving average. But again, for now, market is resilient outside of these sectors that are highly, impacted or highly correlated to the oil prices. And that's and SPX is right at the 72.55 level. So we always go through these exercises, right, in terms of what to expect next, right, going into May and June. So let's just look at the aggressive power trader. So we have on the downside 700. So in the next month we could see 700. Largest spread is about 730. We're not that far away on spiders. So trading is about distribution of possible outcomes, right? So let's go over that. Let's see, did anybody type in? No questions. Okay. Please do type questions if you guys can hear me, or just say hi if you can hear me. That will help me understand, making sure that. But again, trading, going back to your statistics class, right? We have possible outcomes, right? On one hand, we can reach 7,000, right? So maybe 5% to the downside. Michael, okay, Richard, perfect, thank you. So on the downside, you have 300 points. On the upside, you might get 7 to 7,500, right? And trading is about, there's no such thing as 100% certainty that by end of June we will be in 7,500, right? There's no 100% certainty that by end of June we'll be at 7,000 level. But if you look at distribution of possible outcomes, you know that, around 70% of the time, 1 sigma, we should be somewhere around 7,300, 7,400, and 7,100. And then extreme cases, 2 sigma, right? If AI, agentic AI is growing and billions of dollars are being invested, and we're only in the middle of this revolution, then there's a lot more room to grow, right? And we could be 2 standard deviation of 7,500, 7,600, right, by end of June. On the other hand, if we are investing too much money in the data centers and infrastructure, but the revenue of Microsoft is not growing, revenue of Palantir is not growing exponentially, or at least linearly, right? It's kind of a flat line. Then investors will question the investments, right? And how sustainable is this debt, and what are the debt level? And then you could be at 7,100, right? So how many of you think we're going to trade within 70% of the time, somewhere between 7,100 and 7,400, right? That's case scenario number 1. Most probable, right? Maybe 70% of the time. This is where we're going to spend, right? Maybe 20% of the time, right? Or 15% of the time, we'll get to the 7,000. That's the breakout level in SPX, right? Very important level, right? So 20% of the time we're going to be here, which is scenario number 2. And then scenario number 3, we're going to be at, at 7,500. We're going to reach agreement with Iran. Ships going to flow through the Strait of Hormuz. Oil price is going to drop to 60, and we are at 7,600, right? I mean, totally possible outcome. You can say it's 0 probability, but we can argue whether it's 20%, 10%, or 30%. How many of you say, Vlad, we're stuck between 7,100 and maybe 7,400? how many of you say no? We're going to go to 7,000 or maybe even lower. And then scenario number 3, no, we're going to get to 7,500 or maybe even higher. How many of you say 1? How many of you say 2? How many of you say 3? Just let's think about it. Richard, 3. I like it. All right. Who else? Alex. Alex, what do you think? James, Jerry, Michael, Terry, Tony, Vladimir. He's back. Wow, we have a lot of people that I haven't seen for a while. That is amazing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, okay, we have different opinions. Okay, I'm gonna go with Alex. Alex is usually right. I'm gonna go with 1. I think there's, there are obviously positive catalysts like AI and data center, and very strong earnings from Seagate Group, vertically going higher. LRCX is going higher. Cisco, Amazon are making new all-time high. So there's definitely evidence that companies like Google are growing their Azure, not Azure, but their Gemini and Google Cloud, right? Maybe not exponentially, but with the upward slope in revenue, right? Where companies like Microsoft, it's their pilot program is growing, but maybe very small slope, right? Upward slope, but very small, right? Or maybe flat line. But their investment in data center is exponential and matters. So it is very important to have signals, models that can detect the momentum behind the stocks, and invest into only in the names that do have a strong momentum and breakouts, right? So like SPX in general, right? So I'm going to go with 1, 2. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So then what do we trade, right? And how do we trade? So I already introduced aggressive power trader model, right? This model runs every single day during market hours. I mean, after market is closed, it looks at the closing prices and provides bullish signals, right? So this morning, before market opened, the email went out to customers, basically say, consider buying Amazon, Starbucks, STX, Zoom, if you need additional exposure. Right, you can see Zoom is up 2%, STX is up 4%, 5%. Starbucks kind of flatline, and Amazon is up maybe 0.5%. You can also trade using options, right? So maybe if you have a larger portfolio, maybe you can buy Amazon call, right? That expires either this Wednesday or Friday or next week. Or you can buy an option spread, right? So you do have option signals, and in terms of buy and sell signals, still shows you that at 270, consider buying Amazon. At 275, consider trimming Amazon if you're doing short-term trading. And you can see these predicted buy and sell signals. $5, that's 2%, right? If you're consistently buying at the predicted high and consistently selling at predicted low for the session, then this is the difference of 2%. Then obviously over a long period of time, it eats into your profits. So if anything, whether you're trading stock or options, I would encourage you to look at these buy and sell signals. They are accurate 70% of the time. Amazon will trade between 270 and 275. STX, even STX, right? We predicted 771. It's 765. So it's getting close to overbought levels. But in the morning at 734, okay, that was a good entry point. So that can help you grow your portfolio, whether you're trading stock and options. And these signals get published every night, right? I don't trade all of these signals, but today I did trade Amazon. So I'm long Amazon, right? I'm long Amazon because I have the signal was there last week. On weekly trader, Amazon was a signal, so I decided I'm going to buy a stock and hold it not just one day, but usually it takes somewhere between 1 week and 2 weeks. I'm going to hold Amazon. Again, I bought stock because I already have exposure to technology, so I don't want to have too much exposure. But you can buy an option, right? You can buy an option that expires depending on your trading style, this week, next week, or monthly. Or you can buy option spreads. If you have a small portfolio, this is it's an expensive stock, right? So you might want to consider buying an option spread. And obviously, I didn't trade all of these signals, but I do trade some of these signals. You can enter your phone number to get an SMS message. You can see the recordings of live trading rooms. So Keith and I go over all of our orders and all of our positions, and we record this. So obviously, it's much better if you participate live because it takes time to internalize this information. I talk very fast. Keith, covers a lot of material. If you're new to trading, you want to be a part of the live trading room so you can at least learn, right? You can at least learn on our signals and how to manage them, right? So there's live trading room every day that comes part of your subscription. You can look at the recordings of different topics if you want to learn. You're not comfortable. A lot of people are not comfortable trading option, but maybe I want to start learning about option. I will go to live trading room, review them, and I can start watching videos, right? We have, since 2012, 14 years library of videos on different topics, and you can search for these topics. And you can type in your own symbol. Let's say, NVIDIA, right? It's not a signal today. NVIDIA has been underperforming because of the competition with Google. And you can see what the model says. For the next 3 months, doesn't see a breakout sustainable breakout above 200 on NVIDIA. Obviously, we have earnings, and we'll see if NVIDIA can grow. But at least as of right now, you can type in signal, same thing. It says 193, consider going long NVIDIA. At 204, maybe too far, too fast, and you want to trim your positions. So that's aggressive power trader. Any questions? And you can see history of signals, right? You can say, okay, well, what was the signal yesterday? Or what were the signals? And you can click on the view. And yesterday's signals were Cisco, right? Cisco, FedEx, utility companies, energy. So you can see energy, utility, technology are in uptrend. I actually traded Cisco. And FedEx got caught in the oil prices and transportation sector being affected by Spirit Airlines, and people are start questioning if the oil prices are staying above 100, for how long they can stay, before they start impacting not just Spirit Airlines that already had some issues with their debt load, but other companies, right? Because there are going to be contagion beyond Spirit Airlines. And FedEx and UPS, all of the transportation sectors got hit yesterday because of that concern. Any questions? In terms of next, weekly power trader. So weekly power trader, it's a similar model. It analyzes bigger data set. It looks, at more historical data and tries to make a determination for not just today, but for the next week or 2 weeks, right? So this week, the data got published on Sunday, right? It gets published every Sunday. All right, the data gets published every Sunday. Suggested holding time is 5 to 10 days. Some people hold it longer, some people, depends on your trading plan. And again, the suggestion is, you look for 1 to 2% move in underlying stock. For Cisco, 1 or 2%, that's reasonable in 5 days. If you trade in SPX or LRCX, then it moves more, right, higher. So you do have to adjust for the beta. So this week with Microsoft, Cisco is on the list, Amazon on the list. We try to be diversified. So consumer staples, companies like Coke are doing better, energy, OKE, and Texas Instrument, right? These are the stocks that, Walmart, these are the stocks that have been trading in uptrend. And on Sunday, if you want to have exposure to consumer staples, then maybe Walmart is the way to go, or Coke. If you need exposure to semiconductors, maybe Texas Instrument, right? And same thing, if there's any trades, you would see them under orders, right? So I'm trading Cisco, right? I closed the Cisco spread last week. I opened the Cisco this trade this week, bought it for $2.30. It's trading about $3 right now. So if there's, I don't trade, again, all signals, but I use the models. I use the models like aggressive power trader and weekly power trader to see if I want to add exposure to the market, right? If I my position, if I already have 4 positions and 2.5% loss, then for the new subscribers, I would say don't add positions. If you're an experienced trader, if you have a large portfolio, fine, you can add beyond 4 positions. I usually have more than 4 positions because we have different services that I have to accommodate. Next is dynamic power trader. So using active trader and weekly trader signals, I create my own portfolio. So then you can see all of my positions. So I have Citigroup, I have Cisco, I have Halliburton, I have LRCX, I have Microsoft, right? And if there's any orders, again, you can go to orders. I just got filled on LRCX, right? 260, 265 call spread, closed it at $4, right? So you can see all of my trades. Microsoft, I did the earnings trade last week. Citigroup, I added to Citigroup position yesterday. And you can see all of my trades. You can trade stock or options. Some people ask me, well, what if I don't trade options? Can I still buy LRCX? I mean, if I'm bullish on options, you can definitely buy stock. Your advantage is that I have to be right by May 8th because I chose May 8th is to be the deadline. If LRCX does not go up by May 8th, if you buy stock, then you have advantage where you don't have to be correct on the timing, right? You need to be correct on interaction, but not on timing. So that's dynamic power trader. You can see all of my orders positioned. You can type in your phone number to receive SMS messages. You can see what the portfolio looked like every week. Again, live trading recording and AI analysis for any stocks you want to analyze. Optionable stocks you want to analyze that have options. Earnings power trader, last week was a good trade in Google, right? This week I didn't do any trades, but probably Wednesday, tomorrow or Thursday, usually like to do. We have ARM, Holding, semiconductors, we have Disney. These are the liquid names that I've been trading before. Model knows them, and potentially we can trade them as well. So these are the earnings power trader. I usually take the trade lasts 1 or 2 days, and in example of Google, this is where you can make 200%, 300% return on your trades, because in case of Google, I bought a call spread, right? Sometimes I just, like in case of Intel, I just sell premium, sell credit puts and put spreads. And in live trading room, when you do go into live trading room, in my personal account, I do trade aggressively more than just one more than just one earnings. So yesterday at the closing bell, we were talking about Pelletier. I sold Iron Condor and Pelletier. That worked well. Pelletier did not move to the 126 and 128 level. It did not move two standard deviations, 7% down. We did Shopify, right? Shopify, Iron Condor, that also worked well. Did not get to the predicted price, and then finally was semiconductor. Also kind of flat, so selling premium on these names worked well in the service, in earnings power trader. And finally, we do have Profit Accelerator. Profit Accelerator, where I only trade stocks. Right? You get emails that says, buy Amazon, buy Citigroup, and stock positions, if you feel more comfortable trading stocks. I do encourage you, if you have any questions or you want to help with the trading plan, or how to keep a trading journal, or how to structure your trades, he's a professional trader, right? He was on the floor of exchange. He worked at hedge funds. He's been doing this for over 20 years. He mentors a lot of the students. So I encourage you to schedule a consultation with Keith. It's free, right? You have nothing to lose except to gain. A lot of people like to bounce ideas was against, professional traders. So I do encourage you to, I put this symbol to share with everyone. Richard, signals on ETN. ETN, I assume it's industrials, right? ETN, right? Is that what we're talking about? It was a signal. Eaton was a signal. Obviously, after earnings, it pulled back. So negative reaction to the earnings. Industrials in general have been underperforming. No new signals. I mean, out of industrials, Caterpillar stands out to me, right? Very strong earnings, continuation, breakout. I'm a momentum guy. I would go to Caterpillar. General Electric, kind of not going anywhere. Some of the, aerospace and defense sold off tremendously, right? With anticipation that there will be, de-escalation in the Middle East. So industrials, I don't get a lot of signals. And, one signal that we did get on FedEx, you see the results. So industrials, I would probably stay away for now. If anything, I'm in financials like Citigroup, right? So Citigroup, I think it's oversold. Interest rates are overbought. We have a new Fed chair who's going to start, in 2 weeks. And any indication that these interest rates are unsustainable and oil prices is just a temporary shock, then interest rates will go down and Citigroup is going to go up. But industrials, less. What is the time horizon trades in Power Accelerator? Michael, in a profit accelerator, I mean, usually I hold this symbol like Citigroup, right? So it's a combination. I mean, you send signals with stock and options. So usually it's a week, right, to 2 weeks. Usually a week to 2 weeks. I do have a position like JetQ that I trade around. I look for interest rates. I look for dividends, right? So JetQ I've been holding for quite some time. Everything else is corresponding to options. So I try to give examples of both stock and option trades. So usually it's a 1 week or 2 weeks, the holding time. Thank you, Michael. And again, a lot of people ask me, like an example of LRCX, I did not buy a stock, but I did send an email, an alert, basically saying, you should consider buying LRCX. So that's been a common question. This is a live account. I don't want to overtrade it either. But the idea is that when I buy LRCX, right, and you get a signal on April 27th, I bought an option spread. The idea is you buy a stock, right? And this was April 27th. And obviously, LRCX since April 27, that's here. So if you bought it somewhere in here on April 27, it's up, 5%, 4%. Any other questions? Thank you, Michael. In terms of another announcement is that some of you do not have time to trade or you're new to trading, right? Then we do have in live trading, you can see I trade using Avantgarde platform. We have a marketing relationship with Avantgarde. And we do have ability to auto execute. If you sign letter of direction, then you don't have to be in front of the computer. And then signals like earnings power trader or dynamic power trader, these spreads like LRCX, Cisco, we would auto execute in your account, right? As long as you sign that form, basically authorizing Avantgarde to trade signals to trade yellow panel signals in your Avantgarde broker dealer account. So I'm going to post this link here, and they have a team of professional traders. They have AI that can help you answer any questions you might have. You have a live person, you have AI agent that can help you construct portfolio, rebalance portfolio, answer questions about difference between puts and calls. You know, I think this is something that I would consider as well, especially if you have multiple strategies or multiple newsletters. You don't want to have all of them in one account. It's very hard to determine what works and what doesn't. If you trade on your own and you trade lot signals and you trade key signals, then you can't really tell which one works and which one doesn't. So I do encourage you, if anything, to consider opening an account at Avantgarde to diversify your risk and get a clear picture. Alex, Chuck, FT, James, Jerry, Martin, Michael, Richard, Terry, Tom, Tony, Vladimir. We have a healthy attendance. I like that. Thank you for joining. Any questions? 12:35. So at this point, I think unless the war in Middle East escalates, and we've seen there was small escalation yesterday, but you know, everybody forgot about this. The path of least resistance is to continue going higher. I think market is overbought. We will have pullbacks. At this point, it looks like shallow pullbacks. You know, I'll be surprised to see market at 7,000 without re-escalation of either war in Middle East or more Spirit Airlines defaulting because on the debt is overwhelming when the oil prices are at 100. Right? If that story persists and starts escalating, then we could pull back. But if that does not, and expectation that it will not, then I think passive resistance is higher. I would be a buyer at 7,100, buyer at 7,000, keep an eye on crude oil. Right, these levels are not sustainable. We need it to drop to 80, preferably 60, but that would require some kind of agreement with Iran. Any questions? All right, so keep it on crude oil. We do need, you know, this is unsustainable. So at some point, either the market is going to pull back or the crude oil pulls back. They cannot both go in the same direction for too long, along with interest rates, right? That's not a good setup. It warrants you not to be overly aggressive in stock market. I mean, you should still participate, you should still have bullish positions, but I would stick to the rules. And if your rule is 4 positions and no more than 2.5%, this is the time to enforce that rule. You don't want to, or if the cash should be 30%, you should not be buying on margin, right? Because if you do and the market pulls back, you do not want to be on the margin calls. A, or B, you want to have cash so you can buy, you know, if the market does pull back. All right, that's all I have for today. It seems like technology is working well for the most part. That's what's leading the market. It looks like small caps are now participating. Emerging markets participating. So this is, if you see a chart patterns or you see a signals where you see a breakout, right, like Caterpillar, that's the place to invest. Right, you know, long-term consolidation, breakout, and most likely, as long as the market cooperates, that will continue. All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Richard, thank you. Michael, first session, love it. Please join us. We do have live trading room. You know, try any of these services out. Right, you can go to price and try any of these services out. I would definitely consider scheduling an appointment with Keith. This is a very valuable information. It's free. I don't understand why there is not a line to talk to Keith, but I understand people are busy. Oh, you spoke to him. Perfect. I appreciate this. Thank you, Michael. All right, guys. Thank you very much, and have a great day. And I hope to see you. So next week, same time, same place. Please join me. I am managing live trading room in the morning tomorrow, Keith, at the closing bell. You know, if you have subscription, any subscription to Yellow Tunnel, you have a ticket to the live trading room. And you know, if anything, just stop by and say hello. Thank you.